Welcome to my final part in the countdown of the 25 greatest sports games in history, where we start with number 5, Tecmo Super Bowl. A sequel to the original Tecmo Bowl, Tecmo Super Bowl, developed by Tecmo for the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1989, surpassed its predecessor in every way. Although a Japanese video game company, Tecmo possessed the licensing privileges to both the National Football League and the National Football League Players Association, permitting the game to use both the names and attributes of real NFL teams and real NFL players, a first for its time. Tecmo Super Bowl retained its arcade-style gameplay that made the original a hit, but expanded on core gameplay with the inclusion of new features like the coin toss, fumbles, stat tracking, expanded and editable playbooks, player substitutions, player injuries, and even cutscenes for halftime shows or injuries. Although the game spawned sequels and numerous re-releases, the original Tecmo Super Bowl still holds as the best in the series. In fact, with the advent of modern console emulation on computers and even other console gaming systems, Tecmo Super Bowl may be one of the most hacked and modified NES games in existence, cementing its place as one of video games' greatest cult followings. Only an in-game Bo Jackson is more impressive. Number 4.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Madden NFL 2005. Coming off the heels of the most successful Madden to date, the team at EA Tiburon would be hard-pressed to innovate in a similar manner. But boy did they ever. Madden NFL 2005 brought defense back to the franchise. Featuring cover athlete Ray Lewis, Madden 2005 managed to shore up a once-lacking defense with major improvements to defensive AI, the addition of individual defensive assignments, and of course, the revolutionary hit stick. The defense was back, and it was better than ever. More defensive options allowed users to counter once overpowered offensive concepts, transforming Madden into more of a chess match than ever before. Likewise, the hit stick provided users the ability to showcase their stick skills and knock an unsuspecting ball carrier on his back, with a chance to knock the ball loose. It was just as fun to play defense as it was offense. Of course, Madden 2005 innovated off the field as well. The ever-popular franchise mode evolved with the inclusion of the Storyline Central feature. NFL news and stories were at your disposal via national and local newspapers, emails from your coaching staff, players, and agents, and perhaps most impressive, the EA Sports radio show, hosted by Tony Bruno. The radio show would directly link to stories from your franchise with an almost unsettling accuracy, thereby connecting the user to their franchise in ways that have not been seen since.
All right, now that that's off my chest, I'm sure the coach and player calls will be pouring in. Let's go to the phones to see what some of you think.
Hey, Tony, what's going on? I heard you talking about the preseason, and I thought I'd just call in and give you my 2 cents on it.
Oh, and with Xbox Live, Madden 2005 was the first Madden playable online. Ultimately, on and off the field, Madden 2005 was the best Madden ever. It was the greatest football game of all time. Or was it?
So they get in on the ground.
Yep, great blocking on that one. Gave him a big hole to charge right into the end zone.
Number 3. NHL 94. The greatest hockey game ever made. NHL 94, released for the Super Nintendo and Sega CD, became the first ever hockey game to combine both the NHL and NHLPA license, granting users the ability to play with their favorite teams and players. Moreover, on the ice, NHL 94 retained its signature vertical camera angle, but introduced many new features, including team-specific themes via MIDI music, new game modes like the Best of 7 playoffs and Shootout, and of course, the acclaimed addition of one-timers. For its time, the graphics in NHL 94 were visually stunning, complete with shimmering ice, meticulously detailed player sprites, and well-animated player celebrations. Yet the game's visuals were only eclipsed by the icy smooth gameplay. Simple yet deep controls allowed for precise skating and a plethora of options from which to attack the defense. Even 20-plus years post-release, NHL 94 is still heralded as one of the greatest sports games of all time. Its influence felt in later hockey titles, and its simplistic control scheme still incorporated as an accessibility option in EA's long-standing NHL franchise today. Number 2. ESPN NFL 2K5. Developed by Visual Concepts and published by 2K Sports, ESPN NFL 2K5 represented the coup de grace for the franchise, a final blow issued after EA Sports signed the exclusive NFL license. But it was just as much a pièce de résistance as a coup de grace. On a technical level, NFL 2K5 is undoubtedly the most impressive sports title ever developed for its time. Many of its mechanics and features serving as a standard of comparison for current football titles, wink wink. And quite frankly, 2K5 is in some ways still more realistic than many sports games today. From the authentic blocking schemes to the branching tackling engine, from the smooth blending of the locomotion engine and the right stick juke/spin animations to the physics engine that dictated a thrown ball's landing spot, 2K5 played like football. Visual Concepts managed to inject a breath of new gameplay mechanics and features while simultaneously polishing the game to a crisp sheen. A remarkable achievement in innovation and refinement.
Williams is at the 45, brought down hard at the 41. That will bring up first down.
Now, if its gameplay provided a solid core, then its presentation and feature set provided the sizzle. The graphics and animation quality and variety were state-of-the-art. Its visual fidelity so striking that it compared similarly to the next generation of games. Likewise, the ESPN license enabled 2K to fully implement an ESPN broadcast-style presentation, complete with authentic wipes and broadcast packages that elevated the game to new levels of immersion.
That will end the first quarter, and it's still a scoreless game.
And lastly, ESPN's Chris Berman hosted a weekly highlight show that chronicled the major events from your franchise mode, connecting you to your franchise like no sports game has ever done.
Rolls, then fires a slant. Look at him go. He could go all the way. 60-yard score.
The Ravens go on to win this by the final score of 35-32.
With such authentic gameplay and presentation and depth in the game's core modes, it's a wonder that the game sold for an economical $20. Unfortunately, 2K's marketing tactics were all for naught. ESPN NFL 2K5, the greatest football game ever made, would be the series' last. The game now serves as a sad vestige of what might have been. Number 1. MVP Baseball 2005. EA Sports' MVP Baseball 2005 represented the culmination of a 3-year project meant to overhaul the remnants of the unremarkable triple-play baseball series and transform it into the most authentic, most fun baseball experience ever created. The project was a success.
There's a deep blast, and that'll reach the seats. Home run!
God, this dude's so strong, he doesn't even know he's so strong.
Overhauls to a variety of game engines enabled EA Canada to implement its vision, not without the help of the development team's well-documented camaraderie and hard work, behind the scenes.
Shortstop showed some guts there to turn two. That runner was just flying at him like a runaway train.
MVP Baseball 2005 built upon its core zone hitting and meter pitching mechanics in ways that pushed the series to new levels of immersion and depth.
He belts it way back, and gone!
A new hitter's eye mechanic helped players identify pitch types out of a pitcher's hand. Players could select the type of slide and direction of said slide while on the base paths, and managers were able to argue calls on the field and get ejected. Likewise, the game included hundreds of animations and beautifully detailed graphics, all while running at 60 frames per second. A sports game had never and has never felt so good or so deep.
He's going back at the track, the wall, makes the diving stop.
But the game was just as deep off the field as it was on the field. MVP Baseball 2005 also included authentic minor league teams and actual minor league players by including AA and AAA level farm teams. Mini-games that allowed players to hone their skills in all areas of the game. And a new owner mode that put you in total control of your franchise. From financial responsibilities to human resource management. From meeting player and fan needs to being handed the architectural reins to your ballpark, you truly owned your team. After a long 3 years of reinstallation and refinement, MVP Baseball 2005 was the MVP of sports video games for its era, and it still holds up just as well today.
He jacked that one way back and gone!
Unfortunately, after release, EA Sports lost the MLB license and subsequently ceased production of the series. Even so, even a decade later, MVP Baseball 2005 still bears the golden crown and sits the Iron Throne as the best sports video game ever produced, an achievement never to be dethroned, the best of all time.
He belts it way back, and gone!
So after a long journey, searching far and wide across the vast stretch of video game seas, we finally reached our destination. We've explored the annals of video game history, and in our hunt, we've reeled in our treasure and unearthed the best of both simulation and arcade, finally discovering the greatest sports games of all time. Now we can rest easy with our anchors deep and our vessel at port. The wind blows softly with our riches on deck. Only now must we wait another 25 years until the future of video game development makes change of our findings, forcing us to redirect our course and seek a new list. But for now, may we look back on our history with a newfound sense of knowledge and appreciation. We rest now. Our voyage is concluded. Our mission complete. And I hope you've enjoyed this, the top 25 greatest sports games of history.